All right, hello everybody. Welcome back. I got a really fun one here. So over the weekend, I went down to Cincinnati at what was it? Thieves Gaming. Brandon Runners was there. Lodovitza, Brosif, lots of other people. I'm missing a lot of people from my locals. But we had a 14-person sorcery tournament. I ended up going 4-0 in the general play, and then I lost my first game in top cut, so I ended up getting third. But in this game, I'm playing Lordovitza in his snagged deck, his competitive deck, and man, it was a lot of decisions, and it felt very painful because everything you do, you just take damage, and it's just like, oh my goodness, leave me alone for half a second. But had a really fun game. And so this one is going to be Lordovitza. The next one will be 3 games. It will be my game against Astral. Astral absolutely ran over me. I had an awkward hand, and man, just too many 5/5s. But then the third game will be the championship. Astral versus David Culpepper. You probably know him on the Facebook. He's pretty active there. But all great games. But going into this here, I know Josh's deck here really wants to pull me in. My opening hand had a Poison Nova. It was like, so kind of playing around that, and then a lot of things you can do with against Druid is just kill Tawny all the time, and Fire makes that really easy. So Violimp and Warhorse on turn 3 with 4 mana attack his Troll Bridge. If they go in together, you don't have to discard. It says it enters alone, so it's a little bit of a workaround there. So here he bogs my 2 minions, so that buys him a turn. That's really good for him. Then I think he plays the cat from his hand. Yeah. I have a Monstrous Lion in my hand, and I was kind of thinking about holding Monstrous Lion and Tower, so I could Monstrous Lion and then Trinket and trade profitably. But as Sorcerer, I don't really mind that 1-for-1. I'm going to outvalue my opponent. So yeah, you can see my hand there. There's a Monstrous Lion, a Trinket, a Poison Nova, and a Dispel. Dispel, I think you have to play 2 of them. No, just Dispel or Disenchant. One of them. You have to have answers for these auras and whatnot, and Ring. And so there, after I attacked, I was thinking for a while, should I destroy his Troll Bridge? And he wants to get me on that site, and I was like, that site is dangerous, so I probably should get rid of it. And my hand, it was a little slower, so I was like, I need to knock him on tempo as well. But then he has the follow-up Freeze City. It's just like, oh my god. It's just a little frustrating. But it's fine. That's what happens. So I think I could have played this a little bit differently and set myself up, like, had a little more pressure on board overall. Like, not double spelling on turn 3, saving Tower, and using Monstrous Lion for something else. Not entirely sure, but who knows. Here I'm debating about attacking his Druid or the Plum Pixie's site, just because I know he's probably going to flip soon, and so I don't really want my... so I attack there. I don't want my Imp on top of his Druid too much, and so I think he's at 16 right now. I've attacked twice, taken care of a minion or 2. Now I'm at 18. Here he's debating about playing Mirror Realm to copy Bog, and or flipping for Bruin. So here he flips for Bruin. Sorry about the glare, but doing the best I could. And I think in the future when I do in-person games, I need to have another life counter off to the side, but these are all small improvements for the future. Here I get another Imp, take care of the Pixies. I know earlier in the game he common sensed for a Lead Astray, so I like that. That's why I pushed it over to his side. So I assume he's going to Lead Astray something. Tap and playing Mirror Realm, copying bog to bog free city. And then so here he's going to double lead astray me and pull me into free city. So hey Josh, I don't know why you didn't attack with Bruin, but I'm pretty sure you just led astray and attacked with free city. I was watching this back and wasn't quite too sure. Maybe it was just the nerve, but whatever. It was a very close game. And then so I know I was going to get pulled in eventually. So here's my turn 5th sight for Poison Nova. Attack for 2. He's at I think 14. And yeah, Poison Nova to take care of Bruin. And so then now I need to debate about getting off of Free City, and I need to do that somehow. I think I might have missed it in the card overlays, but on my turn, I'm going to Trinket myself and then Whirling Blades after playing a sight off to the left there. And my other thought here was also to dispel the ring, Trinket, Whirling Blades over to my site, try to get out of his damage aura. I do take 1 from leaving, and then I deal 2 with the Whirling Blades. I just need to get out of the free city is the main goal. And I was just thinking I was going to get hit too much, and here he Riptides me over. So I take 1 damage from the Druid. I think I'm like down to 7 or something, and he's at 10 or 13, maybe 11, somewhere in there. I didn't dispel the ring that turn. I moved just because I saw he had 2 cards in hand, I think, at that time, and I was like, you can gain 1 life, but that's fine, I guess. And then here, I think this is where I stabilize, and like I can start like dropping minions every turn he can't deal with. I've run him out of resources. My minions are going to be bigger, and so Larameric is just going to be a giant pain in the ass. He does play a Bog, which does like slow down my Larameric a turn, which is very, very good for him. I think I have a draw ring coming up, and so my idea here is to use Larameric, attack his Druid. It will have 1 damage from the Druid, 1 damage from the attacking the Druid, and then I have ring to kill it, so I can hit him for 8 off of Sir Larameric. And the other cool thing about Josh's deck is it's playing Finwife, because your enemy's avatar is usually there, like nearby, so you can play Finwife for free, and the next turn have 2 extra mana, and it's kind of like a resource drain on your opponent. So I can see why it's pretty good. And if Josh is usually playing at 4 sites, an extra 2 mana is, what is that, 30% more mana? So like that feels pretty good. It is a little fragile at 2, but it is what it is. I have to play Princess back here just to get the Genesis so it doesn't die instantly. Dragonets to ping the Finwife, and then Dragonets to ping it again off the ring. I want to get him off of mana, and I have lots of stuff on board currently. So I'm like, I feel pretty confident at this point. I think I'm at 4. No, now I am at 3. Now I'm at 3. So I was at 6. Getting punched by the Free City. I think he led astray me again. And like if lead astray was like a cantrip that like drew you a card like Riptide, I think this deck needs another Riptide and 4 more Riptides to be really, really good. And like it's already very good. It's just like you kind of running out of gas. This is at least my experience playing against it and seeing it played. So here I'm trying to do some math of attacking with Larameric and pinging my... he's at 10. So attack for 4, take him down to 6. 2 damage marked on Larameric. I'm going to play Trinket to myself, ping Larameric, hit him for another 4, take him down to 2. So here, I think I might have made a mistake. I kind of get frazzled and like stopped thinking about it. But like I can just attack Bog with my avatar, but here I like decide to like try to run away, and then it was like, no, I can get you to door, so I need to be on top of you. So then I play Hippogriffs, where I didn't really need to play Hippogriffs. I could have just attacked his site and not played Hippogriffs, and had another kill in hand, possibly. So, I don't know, small misplay on my part there. I should have just attacked the site and not tried to be silly with it and just punch him. But after thinking a little bit, he doesn't have a way to deal with my ring, and so yeah, I don't know. That was a really good game. Josh is a lot of fun to play with. I'm pretty animated when I play in person, and I kind of complain a lot, and it was pretty good. But here he had, I think, Shatter Strike or Grapple Shot and a Horse. So good game, Josh. So coming up is my top 4, my first top cut game. Sorry about that. First top cut game against Astral. Astral is, I think, I forget where he said he was, where he lives, but somewhere in near the Cincinnati area, so you can make it out. And my hand in this game was absolute trash. Absolute trash. I had Awkward Threshold. I had a Hippogriffs at 4. I had a Black Plague at 4, and then another, I think Shatter Strike or something is what I mulliganed or something. Oh no, I mulliganed into Boudica. It's like, oh Jesus, these thresholds are terrible. I have since, I think, cut Hippogriffs because I need consistency off the thresholds. I have Perilous Bridge, so I'm like, maybe I can slow him down like a turn or two. But here he has the absolute nuts for his deck. Earthsight into Tower to have a turn 3 Phalanx on the play. I'm kind of halfway hoping to see a Poison Nova to get a 2-for-1. I Mirror Realm my Perilous Bridge, and the thing about Perilous Bridge and Avatar of Air gives their minion flying to push it, so it can get around on the top border here. So this game is an absolute disaster on my end. I have no 3-drop. I have only 4 drops in hand. They're all double air. It's a 3-power. Like, I have no beef. I have no early minions. I have no early aggression. He Rift Valleys my sights apart. A Sinkhole for non-threshold fixing stuff. And I play Black Plague. So Black Plague, I think, is one of the strongest. Black Plague and Feast, or the Feast one, the Fire one, that kills the strongest. In this game, if I had a better hand, I think I could have like stabilized here and maybe started. If I had a 4/4 or something, I could have played, or I don't know. So I drew a Shadow Strike. So now my only 2 minions in hand are Hippogriffs and Boudica. It's like, dang it. And a bunch of minion payoffs and Whirling Blades and a Blink and like, just, I need board presence, and I don't have that right now. But it does cause a awkward turn or two for Astral. So that's the whole point of Perilous Bridge and Black Plague and Great Famine. I want my opponent to have an awkward turn 3, 4, 5. Like, if I can get one of those, that's awesome. If I can get 2, even better. It helps me get to 5 and 6 really safely. So here I attack his Rift Valley with my Hippogriffs for it to die to keep my Plague around another turn, make him have some more extra movement. I didn't attack. I did that because Hippogriffs is just going to die everywhere else. If I try to attack anything, if I try to play it on Perilous Bridge and block with it, I can't block anything effectively. So at least in this scenario, Black Plague makes it harder for him to attack me. So this whole goal of this deck, well, I guess not the whole goal. One of the goals is to cause issues on your opponent's turn 3 through 5 with Perilous Bridge or Plagues or Famine. The other way this deck wins is it has aggressive lines. It can play Airmost Mercenaries second, but also has red cap priorities. So you can red cap, then Airmost Mercenaries, and drop 6 power on board. And so kind of like swarm your opponent as well. You can get to 5 and then just sit there and kind of like see what your draws are. And then if you need a 6, you draw your another site. But then you just keep playing 5 drops and 2s and 3s and just like, you going to deal with all of these or what's going to happen? So here he plays Merlin's Tower. Merlin's Tower says the next spell it casts, so you can choose what discount you get. So he paid for Common Sense to go get Grapple. So then he pushed his Bodyguard and then grappled and then got out of Plague. But that was a lot of work to not deal with Plague. So that's why I really like this. So he spent 2 cards. He dealt 8 damage, don't get me wrong, but he spent 2 cards just for his minion not to die. And usually that is very, very good, and it's enough to like help and deal with stuff. Here's I drew my Infernal Legion, and I didn't have 6 mana, so now I have to blink, get a sight, and move Boudica over. And like, there's maybe an argument to like play Boudica into the site and let Data die to Plague, but I don't think that was like a correct idea or anything. So now I'm just like free open target for him to throw all his big 5/5s at me. So then I think he attacks for 4, so I'm like at like 7, and he attacks for 5, I'm at 2, then he bolts me down the door. I move over, kill something, and then it's like, maybe if he doesn't have it, and then there's the Avatar of Air Boulder. And yeah, there's my hand. Whirling Blade, Shatter Strike, and Infernal Legion. Just a bunch of stuff I couldn't play. So, that was a good game to Astral. A little bit of a blowout, but it's all good. This is what happens in Sorcery. And then the next game is going to be the finals game against Astral and David Culpepper. David is playing a Sorcerer, kind of like, I don't even, mid-range pile? I'm not sure. He's got a bunch of stuff in there. We'll see it here in a second. But I want to just take this time to say thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, like and subscribe. Every Monday, hopefully at 11, is a new video of Sorcery of some kind of topic. Yeah, and here it is. The finals game. So the winner of this gets a champion promo, a playmat, and a sorcerer promo. Like, that's a pretty hefty top prize there. But I ended up getting 3rd overall, and I dropped 1 game this entire day. It was 5-1, so I was pretty pleased with that record. So here, David's playing a Warhorse, trying to be early aggressive. He's playing an annual fair. I think he has some crazy thresholds, so it makes sense to be playing that. Tower into a Pudge with Avatar of Air is just very frustrating. Astral's deck here is very, like, I'm not sure. It's just like there's so much beef, and they're so mobile with Avatar of Air. He's also playing Plumed Pegasus, so you can do like the turn 2 Pegasus stuff and push things around. I think the Avatar of Air deck has kind of evolved to be a little more mid-rangey and utilizing movement as like its main advantage pieces. So David attacks for 2, and I think plays Adept Illusionist. Yep. And Adept is kind of fun to just keep recurring that threat over and over and over again. Just have a bunch of chump blockers. But I don't know if he has like mass removal. I don't know if he's playing Poison Nova. I know he's playing Atlantean Fate. But I think going against something like Astral's deck, where it's just a bunch of 5/5s, 4/4s, movement, you need board wipes and sweepers to deal with things effectively. I guess you could also 1-for-1, like with berries and stuff, and kind of go that route. But man, these things just get on top of you, and you can't trade minions into them. This is where I think aggro kind of falls, and why I chose to go a little bit bigger with my aggressive stuff is early into AL, it was all charged 3/3s, and yeah, it can run people over, don't get me wrong, and you kind of swarm if you're on the play, turn 3 sinkhole, play a red cap, punch for 3, put him back to 1. Like, there is, like, you just get suffocated in a red deck wins kind of scenario. But if you can, like, save a turn and not die, you can just play a 4/4 and then you go deal with it, and then go, everything I have is 3. And so it's a little different. And here he's playing his second annual fair, and the second annual fair is a lot worse than the first, but yeah, Blinks get out of the way of Pudge Butcher, makes sense. And this position, I want to talk about this position just for a half a second. The winning play was viable because of this positioning. Also, Avatar of Air doesn't really care about positioning, so this might be a null point, but playing left instead of right is slightly worse because you are now in sight, in line with Avatar of Air. I know there's voids there, but eventually those will get filled up. Getting out of her line of sight is huge for Boulder, Grapple Shot, and other line of sight spells that Avatar of Air really likes to play. But also, Avatar of Air can just fly to pillars as arrows and fly up, and then none of this matters. But just these small little decisions do matter in the future. Playing a Poison Will hit Astral for 2 more. I think he's at 12 now. Red Cap, take him down to 9. But now there's 2 5/5s on board. That Phalanx can be pushed up and then attack the Oasis. And I think David is still at 20 right now. So, but these 5/5s are just going to start overwhelming these 3 power and 2 power guys. So, yeah. Attack for 5, and then play more stuff, I think. Yeah, a Plume Pegasus, and just 2 Plume Pegasuses. Just so many minions. Avatar of Air it feels like, even in my Sorcery deck, I'm like at 31 minions, and sometimes I feel like I don't have minions to play every turn, but Avatar of Air seems to always have minions. Thinking there a little bit, get a Chump Blocker out of the yard with the Adept Illusionist. Yeah, these 5/5s are just too big, I think. Just too big. Like, the way I think you beat this is you have to, like, play the mid-range game against Avatar of Air, and you have to do good value trades of, like, Poison Nova for 2 or 3 minions, or Atlantean Fate, or Earthquake. It's just some kind of bigger spell to deal with it all. I think even in my Sorcerer deck, like, my 5-mana 4/4 flyers aren't big enough. I'm playing the 4/4 flyers like Vampire and Phoenix for, like, the effect they have, but I guess I also have Trinket, so that could help, and Ring. Oh man, it's just the 5/5s are too big, man. This is a really good deck Astral has. I think he got second in the Season 6 league, and I think he only got second there because when he was playing Kyle, he was 8 sites deep and didn't see an Earth or a second Earth or something. It was just like a really awkward game. But man, it's just so much power on board. What does he have on board right now? 16 power on board? Like, that's ridiculous. But yeah. So Astral's turned the corner, like, dealt with the early aggression between Horse and Red Cap Prowries to start playing the bigger minions. And I think David is, he's at, what is he at? 13 or something. Eats with the Tom Thumb, and so he has to deal with this Adept Illusionist chump block. So I think he moves up, yeah, and then pushes Pegasus to eat the Adept to then Trinket and attack for 6. Or just attack for 6, yep. Or attack for 5. And then move Pegasus up and another Phalanx. So now he has 15, 21 power on board. Now you kind of have to have Poison Nova just to deal with all of this. Even the Fates, or not the Fates, the Atlantean Fates is also a good one. Even that doesn't clear the board. The Great Famine or Black Plague doesn't clear the board. Yeah, you just can't let the snowball happen on Astral's side to like prevent him from swarming the board with 5/5s. And Avatar of Air's movement makes dodging these things so annoying. It's very interesting, the evolution of this deck coming from Kevin in like season 4 of the league, playing just nothing but three drops and just swarm the board that way. But then with AL, the 3 power and 4 power stuff got good enough to block effectively. And I know maybe the playstyle has changed, but now these things are just too big to deal with minions, with your own minions, I should say. And if you play these minions outside of Avatar of Air, you are too slow against charge, and so you lose a lot of percentage points to charge in aggressive decks. So I think Astral has a very good meta counter deck, I guess. So Questing Beast is a good card, but like it doesn't come down and deal with anything. It does dodge Pudge Butcher, which is nice with the stealth. So yeah, hoping to block something and not go to door, but Avatar of Air is just so good at taking anybody to the door. It's really hard to not. You need healing. Like even Angel's Eggs used to be good against Avatar of Air because it blanked one of their minions. But now with these 5/5s, I don't even know if Angel's Egg is good enough. You just need board wipes. And you can't play Perilous Bridge. Maybe Gnome Hollows is like a good counter to this kind of style. And so here he uses Pudge Butcher to drag his Phalanx up out of the chump block range of Adept Illusionist. And is going to attack for 6. I think David is now at 5 or something. Attacking for 5. Kind of like going, well, here's your trade if you wanted it. I think he does end up taking the trade, but then he can push, or Pegasus can attack that same site, and then the other Pegasus can attack Floodplain to deal 6, taking him a door. And here he thinks for a minute and like tries to get out of this scenario, but you have to play what's on board. It's kind of hard to say what do you have in your hand if you have Boulder or whatever. It's kind of like a moot point. So you gotta play with the no knowledge, and I think one of the best strategies here is just to pile up minions to have enough blockers. Even that is not a long-term strategy that maybe buys you a turn, because then they can just attack and trade profitably for everything. So yeah, it has 4 minions, 4 blockers, but then Astral has it. He taps and plays a site and plays Grapple Shot. But man, that Avatar of Air beefy deck is hard. It is hard to deal with. But thank you everybody. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for everybody who is playing. Had great time. And for anybody who's made it this far, I'll leave links in the description. But we are starting something called a Explorer series in the Midwest. So if you're in Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, that kind of area, there will be events popping up here in the future, traveling around and earning points to win a cool top prize. I'll leave a link in the description. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.